Tonight on CTV News at 6, City Council turns its gaze on short-term rentals. Airbnb and Vrbo hosts could soon have new rules to follow and taxes to pay.
We all need to be paying our fair share, and right now these short-term rentals are not.
The Liberal caucus comes to town, immediately met with protest.
Because it's absolutely unfair that folks in Alberta or Saskatchewan don't have the same access to diabetes and contraceptive medications as folks in BC and Manitoba and PEI.
And a well-known local author surprises kids at a school.
The welcome I got today, I was shocked.
A little hazy again tomorrow, but the warm spell continues with daytime highs in the mid to upper 20s all week.
CTV Edmonton, local breaking news with Jeff Hastings.
Good evening. A city report on, on short-term rentals like Airbnb and Vrbo is receiving scathing reviews from the hotel industry. People in several neighborhoods also say they're unhappy with the way short-term rentals have been handled. City staff say concerns around the rentals are overblown and recommend maintaining the status quo. As CTV's Jeremy Thompson reports, councillors decided to ignore that advice.
You can book this whole house in southwest Edmonton for about $300 a night on Airbnb. It's one of thousands of short-term rentals available in our city. While most operate without issue, councillors have been hearing about the bad actors.
My office has received complaints from some of the party houses around the White Avenue area, whether it's greater security concerns or waste management concerns, etc.
Tasked with assessing the situation, city staff found fewer than 100 public complaints about short-term rentals in 2024. That's less than 1% of all complaints to the Community Standards Department.
The scale of the problem doesn't appear to be that great in Edmonton.
That's why staff advised councillors against imposing new rules on the sector, claiming those regulations could be ineffective and difficult to enforce.
With respect, this report is flawed, biased, and incomplete.
The city didn't consult the hotel industry for its report. Spokespeople told councillors the biggest problem with short-term rentals isn't disruptive partiers, rather unfair taxes.
We are opposed to corporations and individuals buying up multiple properties and running them like hotels, without the same health and safety rules, employment standards, or tax obligations legitimate operators face.
We all need to be paying our fair share, and right now these short-term rentals are not.
So councillors told city staff to try again. Now they're looking into mandating business licenses for platforms like Vrbo and Airbnb, forcing hosts to pay commercial taxes, and a system to hold problem properties accountable for bad behavior.
We do need greater regulations. We have done this for other sharing economy like rideshare, which in my opinion has made the industry better.
It's expected to take a year to draft those regulations. In the meantime, councillors say keep filing complaints. They'll help council decide what comes next. Jeremy Thompson, CTV News, Edmonton.
The federal Liberal caucus is in our city for 3 days of meetings ahead of the fall sitting of Parliament. While Prime Minister Mark Carney arrives tonight, some Edmontonians were hoping to catch his attention sooner with the protest this afternoon. Evan Kenny joins us now in studio. Evan, what does this group want to see happen?
Jeff, a group of healthcare advocates want Ottawa to follow through on promises made by Justin Trudeau's Liberal government to expand the national pharmacare program to more than 3 provinces and 1 territory. Friends of Medicare, the Canadian Health Coalition, healthcare workers and patients rallied outside the downtown library near the caucus meeting today. They're also planning different events there for the rest of the week. They want the government to follow through on its promise of expanding the national pharmacare program. Legislation was passed last year, and deals have been struck with Manitoba, BC, PEI, and the Yukon.
Because it's absolutely unfair that folks in Alberta or Saskatchewan don't have the same access to diabetes and contraceptive medications as folks in BC and Manitoba and PEI. It's a matter of fairness, and it's a matter of keeping their promises to voters.
Liberal MPs held several group discussions today focusing on women's issues, the economy, and Indigenous issues. The caucus retreat continues through Thursday. Carney is also meeting with Premier Danielle Smith tomorrow. Parliament resumes on Monday. Jeff?
Evan, thank you. Edmonton police are upset with a planned plea deal in a murder case involving an 8-year-old girl. The girl was killed in an Edmonton apartment in 2023. Her body was later found in Musqueam in a hockey bag in the back of a pickup truck. A woman who cannot be identified to protect the identity of the child was initially charged with first-degree murder. Police have since learned the Crown prosecuting the case intends to accept a plea of manslaughter and an 8-year prison sentence. Yesterday, EPS sent a letter to the Assistant Deputy Justice Minister urging the deal be taken off the table. In the letter, police say significant evidence was collected to support the first-degree murder charge. EPS says if the plea deal goes ahead tomorrow, it will release investigation details, allowing the public to decide for themselves if justice was served. Advocates say more needs to be done to keep girls in sports. They say the province's new requirements for female athletes could end up being another reason girls are more likely to drop out of sports than boys. CTV's Connor Hogg reports.
Alberta's Education Minister says the province's Fairness and Safety in Sport Act will help keep athletes safe. It requires women and girls to confirm their sex at birth to ensure trans athletes are not competing in female divisions, both in schools and outside.
A lot of women and girls drop out of participating in competitive sports because of the physical nature that it can sometimes have as individuals get to more senior levels.
That wouldn't really necessarily be what the research supports.
Registered psychologist Katie Castle says by age 14, girls are twice as likely to quit sports as boys. She says there are many reasons why girls drop out as they hit adolescence, not the physical demand of the sport itself.
What changes is body image, self-confidence, their value on being with their peers. Those are the things that we know really change for girls, regardless of whether we're talking about girls' sports or boys' sports. Every sport gets more intense and harder on your body as you grow.
Castle says the biggest safety risk to young athletes is often the adults around them, not other athletes. Girls in Sport founder Dia Syed says building girls' confidence will keep them on the court.
We assume that they can't take on the challenge and get to where they need to be. And then, quite frankly, if somebody who's scared, and again, I speak for everybody, if we're scared at doing something and somebody gives you an out, you're probably going to go, yeah, you know what, I don't want to do this anymore.
Syed says improving infrastructure can get girls and anyone around the financial, internal, and social barriers to sport.
How to approach them and how they feel safe when making mistakes. Because once you feel safe when making mistakes, it's like a world of opportunity.
The Ministry of Tourism and Sport says the province is committed to supporting girls and women through programs, grants, and partnerships, encouraging them to continue playing. Connor Hogg, CTV News, Edmonton.
The University of Lethbridge professor has resigned from the school's Board of Governors over the province's new rules for female athletes. The U of L has implemented a policy in line with provincial guidelines on an interim basis.
While you can speak against things on the board, after the meeting is done, you're required to support any decision that's rendered, and I simply could not stand and support this decision. I feel it is wrong.
Greg Coburn says he's taking a stand to protect the fundamental human rights of students. Coburn says he can't support the mandate and calls it discriminatory. He's also encouraging other faculty to stand with the students. The University Hospital Foundation is launching a new initiative for diagnosing and supporting Albertans living with dementia. The Dementia Care Pathways Project aims to close critical care gaps for people with mild to moderate dementia living in the community. It focuses on early diagnosis, coordinated care, and real-world support. It will begin at the K Clinic in Edmonton and McLeod Primary Care Network near Whitecourt. The goal is to create both urban and rural-based programs to then roll out province-wide.
Being able to equip primary care physicians with this is what a family member might see that might be leading to dementia will better equip them to say, how do we intervene early so we can slow the disease down, and also support the caregivers around them, because really the care around the individual with dementia is all-consuming.
And I know
the initial project will cost $3 million. The province is spending $1 million, with the University Hospital Foundation providing the rest of the funding. An Alberta man living with Alzheimer's is urging Health Canada to approve new drugs aimed at significantly slowing down the progression of the disease. The two treatments are given through monthly IV infusions. They work by targeting protein deposits in the brain, which are believed to cause dementia and Alzheimer's. Both drugs are approved in several countries, including the U.S., Japan, and the UK. Health Canada received applications in 2023 and 2024 for the treatments. Brian Bates was diagnosed with early onset Alzheimer's in March. He hopes the drugs will give him more time with his family.
Family is very, very important, and I think it's a thing that's kept me going, made me want to continue.
Health Canada and the regulators are in a difficult position. They want to do due diligence and ensure that these medications are safe, but we also have to balance that off by the recognition that there is time sensitivity.
Health Canada says both drugs are being reviewed as efficiently as possible to ensure they meet safety and quality standards. Oilers rookie camp is about to begin. Tomorrow, 25 players will report for medicals and fitness testing at Rogers Place. They'll hit the ice Thursday for practice before playing a game at Rogers Place on Friday. Tickets for that game are now on sale. Some of the big names attending rookie camp include Isaac Howard, Matt Savoy, and Bo Akey. And with Oilers training camp right around the corner, a published author from the team decided to surprise an elementary school in South Edmonton this afternoon. Merrick DeCash reports.
A special surprise for students at St. Elizabeth Catholic School.
It was very difficult to keep this a secret. You could feel the energy in the room with staff and students, but we are super excited that he was able to join us this afternoon.
Students were expecting a reading session from Oilers TV host Gene Principe. Instead, Oilers forward Zach Hyman came through the door to read one of his own books.
The welcome I got today, I was shocked. I usually get a big welcome, but today was pretty special. The kids were extremely loud and excited, and it was really awesome to see.
Hyman has published 3 children's books. Today he read Hockey Hero, a picture book he wrote back in 2015.
I thought the book was really nice, and through my mind I was like really excited. It's very nice and cool, and all about hockey and inspiring. Maybe I could try hockey.
Reading and writing has always been a huge passion of mine since I was a kid. I love books, I love reading, I love writing, and I fell into this.
The Oilers forward signed more than 200 copies of his books for the entire school. He also took some time to sign jerseys and other items.
A lot of these kids haven't met an Oiler, neither have our staff, so an opportunity to have someone come and share a book. So he's a published author, the love of reading, his passion for writing, a wonderful role model for the students here at St. Elizabeth.
Despite giving students a day they'll remember, Hyman still has some work to do when it comes to winning them over.
My favorite Oiler, I don't have a favorite because they're all good.
Merrick DeCash, CTV News, Edmonton.
A local soccer superfan is getting ready to snap up tickets to the upcoming World Cup. Larry Zima has spent countless hours and dollars watching soccer all around the world. During the last World Cup, he flew to Qatar to cheer on Team Canada. Zima is crossing his fingers he'll be able to score seats this time, too. Fans can sign up tomorrow to enter a lottery to buy tickets. Zima says it'll take a team effort.
I have friends from across the country who are all doing the same thing, find the visa pre-draw. The Voyageurs have a partnership with Canada Soccer, if you're a member, for their Canada Soccer draw. And then General Sales will be trying everything to get. They're going to be in demand in this country.
The World Cup starts June the 11th. The first game in Canada on June the 12th. The final is July the 19th. All right, first look at weather, Josh. Another hot one.
Yeah, 29 degrees. For a daytime high, and we've got a shot at being in the 29-degree range again Thursday, Friday. There'd be a little bit of slippage for temperatures tomorrow. We'll take a close look at that in a moment. First, here's your current temperatures, 27. Downtown Edmonton, wind out of the west, about 10 to 15 kilometers per hour. Wind has not been much of a factor over the past couple of days and will not be much of a factor for the rest of tonight or tomorrow. 24s off to the west and northwest of the city, and some 26s south and east of the city. 29 puts us 10 degrees warmer than average today. Still 4 degrees off the record high of 33. I think we're going to be really close potentially to some records on Thursday and Friday, though. Again, we'll get to your 5-day forecast in a couple of moments. But first, take a look outside with the CTV drone. You can see it has been a little hazy again in the Edmonton area. Tough to make out the downtown skyline there off in the distance. We're in the 5-6 range on the Air Quality Health Index, which is a moderate risk. That was the case yesterday. That's the case today, and it's probably going to be the case again tomorrow. We do have some scattered showers and thunderstorms off to the west of the city, again through the foothills, some hit-and-miss thunderstorms. You can see nothing imminent for Edmonton, but there is a slight chance late this evening or overnight tonight for a spotty shower in and around the area. I think most of the Edmonton region, though, stays dry tonight and tomorrow. 14 degrees tomorrow morning with a mix of sun and cloud, and then some clearing in the afternoon, and about 26 or 27 for a daytime high. Full look at your 5- and 10-day forecast. Let you know how long this warm spell will last later in the show.
Thank you, Josh. Stay with us. Up next, a sudden loss of social media.
What was the reason? And just to be able to, like, talk to someone human.
Albertans say artificial intelligence is to blame for locking their online accounts, causing real-world consequences. Also next.
My farm is going to be smack dab in between this development.
Dozens of Albertans angry about a data center being built in their community.
Coming up Wednesday on CTV Morning Live, how much protein do our kids really need? We set the record straight and offer up a healthy and filling back-to-school snack. See you at 6.
CTV Morning Live Edmonton, weekdays.
Programming brought to you by Century Casino. 3 great locations: Edmonton, St. Albert, and Century Mile.
An Alberta DJ says his livelihood is in jeopardy after his Instagram account was disabled with no clear explanation why. Users around the world are facing the same issue and are blaming parent company Meta's use of artificial intelligence. CTV's Terry Fikowski reports.
Talon Doak is a DJ in Calgary and until recently shared his performances on Instagram.
I would say it's like the 2025 version of like a resume or LinkedIn. So without it, it's kind of like you don't exist, because that's where people check first.
He racked up quite a following with more than 10,000 users and 1 million views a month. But that all disappeared when his account was disabled in April after it was flagged for violating the platform's community standards on child exploitation and nudity.
The only thing that I just posted before I went to sleep that morning was something about like DJing. It had nothing to do with like anything close to what they said. On my phone, it won't even let me log in.
Despite multiple efforts to appeal, he remains locked out 4 months later.
Summer is always like my busiest season, so like not having it, I missed DJing the Calgary Stampede. I missed like the festivals I did.
The issue is being linked to Meta's artificial intelligence monitoring system, which experts say is prone to mistakes.
If they are using AI for the sort of automated moderation and the AI is making mistakes, then Meta has the responsibility to ensure that users have a way to report these issues and have these issues addressed in a fair and equitable way.
More than 40,000 users agree, with a petition circulating calling on the social media giant to act. That includes Jesse Vitterall, a paramedic from Cochrane, who is fighting to have his personal account reinstated.
What was the reason? And just to be able to like talk to someone human.
He also believes Meta should be accountable for flagging people for things like child abuse without any recourse.
It's not just about losing social media, it's about being labeled with something so harsh and devastating. I think it needs to be sorted out.
CTV did reach out to Meta for comment, but the company did not respond. Terry Fikowski, CTV News, Calgary.
Some people living near Calgary are angry about a data center being built in their community. The project is planned for Rocky View County near Balzac. It includes multiple data centers and a power generation facility in the project's second phase. Developer Kineticor says the project will have substantial long-term benefits to the county's fiscal position. The company says it could generate $14 million in annual tax revenue. Those who live in the area are concerned about their property value, the potential health impacts, and water use. They also say it'll be an eyesore.
My farm is going to be smack dab in between this development and the development existing at Balzac already. We've already had our share of developer problems with dirt dumping, with water well issues, with water runoff and pumping illegally onto our land from reservoirs that weren't made big enough from these projects.
This is an important project for Rocky View County and for Alberta to be part of the growing AI infrastructure that's taking place.
50 people registered to speak to the issue at Rocky View Council today. The special meeting will continue tomorrow because of the number of speakers. Once everyone has been heard, Council will vote on the fate of the data center project. Stay with us. Coming up, a new kind of bus on two wheels.
It's a healthy start to the day.
Even though it makes me sore.
How the bike bus is giving kids a jump start to their school day.
Oh, we were 10 degrees above average today. We won't be quite that far above average tomorrow, but it will be another warm one and probably another hazy one. Take a closer look at that and your long-range forecast right after the break.
Programming brought to you by James H. Brown Injury Lawyers, the heavy hitters of injury law.
Classes are back in session, and some students are getting a fresh start to the day. CTV's Sasha Pietramala reports on a new kind of school bus on city streets.
Good morning. For this group of elementary school students, today's morning bus ride looked a little different.
I liked how we all biked to school without having to walk. It was just so much faster.
Bike Bus Edmonton offers kids a jump start to their school day.
We ride along a pre-planned route. We've got scheduled stops, and people join in along the way to have a ton of fun on their way to school.
Led by parent volunteers, safety is their #1 priority.
Yeah, it was safe. I mean, it's all side roads. Yeah, it was good.
Let's everybody practice our turning signal hand. If you can let go of a handlebar. If you can't, that's okay.
Founding organizer and parent volunteer Kellen Westman says the benefits are endless and the kids love it.
It's a healthy start to the day. There's a lot of research to suggest that engagement at school is a lot better when you've had an active start.
I do, even though it makes me sore.
Something I found out for myself when I joined in on the ride. Bike Bus Edmonton picks up and drops off kids to and from Rutherford Elementary School once a week.
It's not every day right now, but my vision is that it is every day. This should be the normal way that everybody gets to school all the time.
And while setbacks sometimes happen, a valuable lesson is taught.
We celebrated that crash. It said he got back up. We gave him a big round of applause. Like, great crash, buddy. You got back up. Let's go. Let's get to school.
After the ride, snacks and stickers are handed out to top off the morning. Would you do it again?
Yeah.
Why?
Because it was fun.
Sasha Pietramala, CTV News, Edmonton.
All right, longer look at weather now. Is it harder on weeks where the forecast is kind of the same all week long?
Yeah, I'm ready to
it's
just.
hot. 29, 29, 29.
Done. I'm just going to record today, and I'm just going to run it for every day for the rest of the week.
All right.
Like LA Story. Steve Martin. I know you would. I know you would. At least we have pleasant weather over and over and over again to talk about, aside from the haze. Here's the Action Furnace River Valley Skycam. Action Furnace fixed, right, it's free. 27 degrees. And a little hazy in Edmonton right now after hitting 29 for a daytime high today. 29's Fort McMurray, Cold Lake, 26, 27. Grand Prairie and Peace River, Red Deer made it up to 27 as well. So nice and warm right across the province. You do have some air quality statements, not a warning. It's a step below a warning, but some statements here. Fort McMurray back to the west, areas north of Slave Lake, and then Grand Prairie, Whitecourt, Hinton, Edson areas under that statement. Although, I mean, around Whitecourt, you have a 9 there. Grand Prairie, you've got some blues, so you're dealing with low to moderate risk. Same goes for Fort McMurray, moderate risk there. You see this cluster of orange around Edmonton? You notice there's no smoke coming from the east. There's really no thick smoke in the north that's coming our way. You got to go a long ways west to find in the interior some thicker smoke. What has happened is the smoke that rolled in a couple days ago just hasn't gone anywhere. And so it's just sort of lingering over top of us. There's nothing to move it out. And so again tonight and tomorrow, I think it's going to be pretty similar. A moderate risk on the air quality health index, and maybe we get a bit of improvement towards the end of the week, but it's going to require some stronger wind, which does not really look like it's in the offing here. You get a low pressure system way off to the north, bit of a cold front trailing behind that. That's been setting off those showers and thunderstorms through the west and in the Swan Hills region. You can see those will track off to the northeast through tonight. So late this evening, overnight tonight, maybe there's one or two scattered showers, maybe even an isolated thunderstorm in and around the Edmonton area. I think most of the city and surrounding area gets missed, but there will be a couple of spots that potentially see a little sprinkle overnight tonight. And then this will start to move off into northeastern Alberta as the morning wears on. So 8 a.m., mix of sun and cloud to mostly cloudy skies, then some sunshine breaks out in the afternoon. South and southeast of the city, around supper time, get a chance of some scattered showers, maybe some thunderstorms here. Vermilion area off to the east of Edmonton. I don't think we'll see any of that late in the day tomorrow. Sky should actually be clearing. And then across the province, looks pretty dry for Thursday. Mainly sunny to partly cloudy skies. And warmer Thursday than it will be tomorrow. And tomorrow still above average for many areas. 27 in Fort McMurray, 25 in Grand Prairie, 27 Edmonton and Red Deer, and light wind for most of the province. You can see the wind will be a non-factor overnight tonight. 14 degrees tomorrow morning with a little extra cloud cover there in the morning, and then some clearing in the afternoon and a high of about 26 or 27. Midnight Friday is the bonus prize deadline in the Mighty Millions lottery. It's the Oilers and $75,000 bonus prize. 2 lower bowl season seats and $75,000 cash. Go to mightymillionslottery.com before midnight Friday if you want to get in on that and all the other prizes. 27 or 28 for highs Thursday, Friday, and I'm being conservative here. There's a chance we get to 29, maybe even 30 one or two of these days. The record for Thursday is 29. The record for Friday is 30. So we'll be close to some record highs to close the work week. Mid-20s through the weekend with a mix of sun and cloud, and then a chance of some rain early next week, Monday into early Tuesday. And daytime highs next week will get a lot closer to average and right around 20.
Thank you, Josh. Stay with us. Up next, Israel tries to strike the heart of Hamas.
It certainly is an escalation of this war.
The international community and hostages' families critical of the unprecedented attack in Qatar. Also next.
The cost of construction has gone up drastically.
Push for more housing starts across Canada as some major cities struggle to keep up with demand.
Programming brought to you by James H. Brown Injury Lawyers, the heavy hitters of injury law.
Explosions rocked Qatar's capital city in what Israel calls an assault against the senior leadership of Hamas. While it was an unprecedented attack, it's not the first time Israel has gone after the leaders behind the October 7th massacre. CTV's Adrian Gobriel has more.
Smoke paints the sky black on a dark day in Doha.
It certainly is an escalation of this war.
The deadly daylight air assault is believed to be Israel's first ever inside Qatar. This Hamas residence, now left with a gaping crater in the capital, is said to have been the target, just as the latest ceasefire proposal was being considered. Hamas says that 5 of its members were assassinated in the attack, including the son of exiled chief Halil al-Hayya. Though al-Hayya, seen here, who is believed to be the prime target, has survived, according to Hamas.
These are the same terrorists who planned, terrorist chiefs who planned, launched, and celebrated the horrific massacres of October 7th.
As Israel's prime minister took responsibility, the attack is sending shockwaves across the international community.
I condemn this flagrant violation of the sovereignty and territorial integrity of Qatar.
Britain's prime minister saying the priority must be an immediate ceasefire, the release of hostages, and a huge surge in aid into Gaza. In Israel, the families of hostages believe today's airstrikes may have sealed the fate of their loved ones.
Crushes the hopes of all of the families. It's just, it's devastating.
There were several days ago warnings from the Israeli Defense Forces Chief of Staff that Israel was going to start targeting Hamas's leaders no matter where in the world they might be.
Israel's air assault in Doha comes after Hamas's armored wing claimed responsibility for shooting and killing 6 people on Monday at this bus stop in the outskirts of Jerusalem. The latest escalation comes as Israel issued an evacuation order today for residents in Gaza City, with the IDF sharing its intentions for a full-scale operation. The military maneuver reportedly involved 15 Israeli fighter jets firing 10 separate airstrikes on one single target. Adrian Gober, CTV News, Toronto.
Tennis Canada says the Davis Cup match between Canada and Israel in Halifax will be closed to fans. The organization says it made the decision after local authorities and national security agencies flagged escalating security concerns. More than 400 Canadian athletes and academics had called on Tennis Canada to cancel the match over Israel's actions in Gaza. The CEO of Tennis Canada says while the decision is disappointing, the safety of everyone involved is the top priority. A Russian airstrike killed at least 24 people waiting to collect their pensions in a Ukrainian village. Ukrainian authorities say the bomb hit the Donetsk region village of Yarova around 11 local time. The village is less than 10 kilometers from front lines. The strike also wounded 19 people. Recent diplomatic efforts to end the conflict have largely stalled. The Canadian government has issued a travel warning for Canadians in Nepal to avoid government buildings and demonstrations. People in Nepal stormed the streets in celebration today after that country's prime minister resigned. KP Sharma Oli stepped down today as anti-corruption protesters defied a curfew order, clashed with police and set fire to the Parliament building. The anger comes after 19 people were killed yesterday in the unrest ignited by a social media ban. The Himalayan country now enters a new era of political uncertainty. CTV spoke to a Canadian traveler who was among the protesters.
Yeah, we got tear gassed for a couple of hours, and they were like firing at us as well, just kind of doing anything to keep us back.
In addition to a curfew, local authorities canceled all flights out of Nepal's international airport. NHL officials say a decision on the fate of the hockey players at the center of a high-profile sexual assault trial will come in the near future. Michael McLeod, Carter Hart, Alex Fermenton, Dylan Dubé, and Cal Foote were acquitted of sexual assault charges in July. The NHL said they'd be ineligible to play in the league until officials review the findings. The NHL Players Association says the men should be allowed to return to work because they were found not guilty. Deputy Commissioner Bill Daly says the NHL takes the matter very seriously, and that's why it's still under review. New numbers from Statistics Canada show other parts of the country are struggling to keep up with Alberta when it comes to housing starts. Housing starts are at their lowest level in 30 years in some regions where the need is greatest. CTV's Michael Couture walks us through the numbers.
The Canada Mortgage and Housing Corporation says slowdowns in Vancouver and Toronto weighed on the overall number of housing starts, and there is a concern it could affect housing supply in the future.
Home building in Toronto fell to its lowest level on a per capita basis since 1996. According to a report from Canada's National Housing Agency, Vancouver also saw a drop in housing starts compared to the first half of last year.
There's this slowdown in activity that will potentially recreate kind of those issues in terms of pressures on prices, pressures on rents.
The CMHC says pre-construction sales are slumping by double digits in Toronto, which is forcing developers to delay project launches in a city that is in desperate need of new homes.
The cost of construction has gone up drastically, and the number of people that are out there looking to buy has gone down again drastically as well.
A near record pace of apartment construction in Calgary, Edmonton, Montreal, Ottawa, and Halifax helped offset the sluggish numbers in Vancouver and Toronto. Developers believe cities could see even more growth without municipal development charges, which help pay for roads and sewers.
We need to be able to reduce that for, even if it means just completely eliminating it for a good period of time so that our industry can pick up.
Red tape is another complaint, which Conservative leader Pierre Poilievre would reduce with a suite of measures.
Get rid of the sales tax, cut the development charges in half, speed up the permits, zero tax on reinvested gains.
In a statement, a spokesperson for Housing Minister Gregor Robertson said the government is going to build homes at a pace and scale not seen in generations, pointing to a yet-to-be-announced program called Build Canada Homes. However, there are still no details on the measures the Liberals intend to implement. Mike Lecouteur, CTV News, Ottawa.
A strange sight in Prince George, BC, when police pulled over a man driving a child-sized pink Barbie Jeep. RCMP say the plastic vehicle merged into traffic during the busy morning commute on Friday. The joyride ended with an arrest. Police say his driver's license had already been suspended, and he failed 2 breathalyzer tests. He was also banned from driving for 90 days any type of vehicle. Coming up, calls to increase competition in Canada's electric vehicle market.
It's going to be a more efficient transition if we open up the market.
Sales of EVs rolling way back as incentives dry up. And there is a live look from the CTV drone, Southwest Edmonton, Anthony Henday Drive, and Terwillegar on what has been another warm day, possibly record-breaking heat on the way, and more haze. Stay with us.
Programming brought to you by James H. Brown Injury Lawyers, the heavy hitters of injury law.
Checking on the markets, the Canadian dollar sitting around 72 cents U.S. Oil is up slightly, around $62 U.S. a barrel. Gold saw an almost $5 bump. On the stock market, the TSX gained 35 points. The Dow Jones is up 196. More Canadians seem to be pulling the plug on purchases of electric vehicles. The blame is largely being put on the end of consumer incentive programs. Now the Prime Minister has paused Canada's 2026 EV target. CTV's Jean-Vier Beauchemin digs into the numbers.
If Canadians were in the driver's seat, it seems Chinese-made EVs could have an easier road into the local market, at least according to a Nanos survey. It found 6 in 10 Canadians support removing 100% tax on all Chinese-made electric vehicles. This in hopes China may remove tariffs against Canadian crops like canola. Ottawa has said the tariffs are under review.
We'll see where that leads, but the discussions are ongoing and we're in a very fragile position.
Canada imposed that tariff in October 2024, saying it was protecting local manufacturers from unfair trade practices by China. But since, sales of EVs have hit bumps in the road. New numbers show EV sales dropped 39% since last year, and plug-in hybrids 2%. Statistics Canada points to rebates for zero-emission vehicles drying up. That drives up the cost of EVs. Some say a mix of incentives, mandates, but also a more open market could help boost sales.
It's going to be a more efficient transition if we open up the market. There will be only that much more choice for consumers.
Without tariffs, but also without adding the costs of safety certification and shipping, the price tag for a Chinese-made Seagull by BYD, now the world's largest EV manufacturer, is around $13,800. Some in Canada's industry say the low cost could come at a high price.
Giving away your market because pressure, because EV enthusiasts would like to see these Chinese vehicles. Well, the enthusiasts don't employ anybody.
Ottawa has said that Canadian consumers deserve cheaper EVs, but some manufacturers say scrapping tariffs isn't the way to go. Geneviève Beauchemin, CTV News, Montreal.
A central Alberta man who transformed his barley field into a working train station has raised almost $20,000 for Alberta Children's Hospitals. We introduced you to Ernie Biscowini last week. He says he first had the idea 18 years ago when his grandson was admitted to the Ottawa Children's Hospital. Trains departed his mini rail yard west of Sylvan Lake all weekend long raising money for the Stollery and the Alberta Children's Hospital Foundations. One man in Red Deer is using his personal experiences to help others with cancer. Evan Kenny has more on how he's helping people with physical, mental, and financial supports.
Jason Comtong knows how hard it is for cancer patients to admit they need help. He battled cancer more than a decade ago. He lost his tongue and part of his jaw, which required numerous surgeries. Now, he's helping others going through it.
A lot of it is an emotional problem that I have. But as a man, I do not want to have to ask for help. But when you have cancer, you have to ask for help.
Comtong created the Endless Spirit Foundation. He says cancer patients and survivors need physical and mental support. His foundation provides assistance in their day-to-day lives and gives them a place to share personal stories and ask questions.
It affects your whole life. And so
And the Spirit Foundation wants to help outside of that medical realm in any way that we can.
Comtong says battling cancer is expensive. Between treatments and loss of income, some could be facing costs in the tens of thousands of dollars. His foundation hands out these cards, which people can show at participating businesses to get a discount.
I want a little bit of help. Come and vote a lot of help.
The Canadian Cancer Society says about 45% of Canadians will be diagnosed with cancer, a major reason why Comtong is expanding his foundation to cities across the country, offering support beyond Red Deer's borders. Evan Kenny, CTV News.
Coming up, a movie being filmed in Alberta is trying to beat a killer world record.
Today we're going to be killing everybody. Everybody have the right way.
Programming brought to you by Southview Acura. For family-owned, award-winning excellence, Southview Acura, where luxury meets reality. Stay with us. We've got another full night of great shows for you tonight on CTV.
There's still more than a month until Halloween, but for one Alberta film production, the scares are well underway. The team behind the slasher movie is attempting to break the world record for the number of on-screen deaths. CTV's Alicia Fieldberg was on set today, and a warning, this story may contain a record number of behind-the-scenes kills.
Today we're going to be killing everybody.
These actors have roles to die for. They've all signed up as movie murder victims in an attempt to break the Guinness World Record for highest slasher death count in a feature film.
Kill 27, take 2.
Until There Is One follows a group of people trying to survive a serial killer for the chance to win $1 million. It's written and directed by a Calgary actor.
We were curious, what's the Guinness Book of World Records for the most kills on a slasher movie? And we found that it was 155, and we're like, we can beat that. And funny enough, we're probably going to, by the time we're done, be at around 2,000 kills.
He's worked around the world on productions, but chose Calgary for this film. There was an open casting call for the crowd-funded film, which stars some prominent horror actors.
I've played some famous killers like Jason Voorhees. Yes, and I know how to kill, and I know the movements and the stunts.
He's in a bunch of movies that I'm obsessed with, so it was really cool to meet him in person and just see how humble he is.
This Calgarian's day job helped her prepare for her on-screen debut.
I'm a root canal specialist, so I see patients in pain all day long, and I do a lot of surgery, so I deal with blood and, just the gore of things.
Many other fans also jumped at the chance to be scared.
And not just be killed by their favorite celebrity, but they're also part of breaking the Guinness Book of World Record. And so it's a little bit like cinematic history.
Most of the victims don't even know how they'll go.
But I can do a good scream, so I'm ready. And I do like the gore of getting all bloody and running for your lives.
But killers aren't the concern for some first-timers.
Scary because I don't know what I would sound like or look like on camera.
Unlike the current record holder, The Summer of Massacre, this film will not rely on special effects.
It's all practical. So we've gone old school. We are shooting blood everywhere.
They're using every weapon in the toolbox to try and secure a new record and deliver thrills to audiences. Alicia Fieldberg, CTV News, Calgary.
Until There Is One is expected to be released in some theaters and on streaming services in spring 2026. And that was a great medium reveal of you there, Josh. Not a slow reveal.
Almost as good as the sledgehammer.
Almost, yeah. He was, that was enthusiastic.
Vigorous. Take a look at your forecast. Temperatures overnight tonight will drop to 14 degrees. There is a slight chance of a spotty shower. It's going to be really hit and miss late this evening and overnight tonight. Tomorrow, hazy once again. Air quality health index likely in the 5-6 range, so pretty similar to what we had yesterday and today. We'll get to about 26 or 27 for a daytime high. Should be in the upper 20s for Thursday, Friday. I've got 27s. Could be closer to 29 or 30. We'll see how those days play out. And then cooler next week. Weekend still looks like we're in the mid-20s, but back into the 18 to 22 range for next week. So back to around average. And maybe some rain Monday of next week.
Feels like
it's been a while since we had some of that.
All right. Thank you, Josh. And thank you very much for sharing your time with us. For news anytime, ctvnewsedmonton.ca.
That's a medium zoom, too.
Medium. Was that slow?
That's slow.